Hey, this is Daniel Norton. I'm here in my studio in New York City with Paulina.
Hi.
And today we're going to talk about kind of setting up a kind of a classic three-point lighting scenario, but I'm also going to kind of walk through how you put your lights in zones and kind of separate it. Basically the process of doing it, not just putting the lights in places, but how you set their exposure, where you want to put them, kind of ratios. Not Horatio, but maybe Horatio, who knows, if we want to do a little Shakespeare. So let's start with our light placement. I'll come over here. You can jump on your spot. So we see, actually, for a second, I'll have you stay over here, Paulina, sorry. Because behind her, you see there's a light on a stand. That light has a grid on it. That's going to be our background light. And then, now you can spot. Thank you. To basically camera right, you've got a strip bank. That's going to be our hair or separation light. And then right over here to camera left, we've got a 2 foot by 3 foot Profoto Softbox, which is basically our key light. So the key light is setting your base exposure on your subject. Because I'm feathering the light, which you can find out about in a previous video, see I did that, callback, right? I don't think I need any kind of a reflector, so I don't need any kind of fill. So I'm gonna go 3 points, right? Key, hair light or separation light, and then background light. So that's what we're doing here. So number one, key light. I'm using Profoto here. This is a B1x. It's got a 2 foot by 3 box, like I said. I'm gonna use TTL to set my base exposure. So let's see. I'm gonna frame up like a 3/4 body shot here. Boom, and we get a basic exposure. Okay, so there it is. We're looking at skin tone, right? Skin tone's key here. Skin tone and position. We've got a little shadow, but I think that's okay, you know. I might swing the light around a little bit more. I'm a little more forward with it. Okay. And I'm in TTL, so it should automatically adjust the exposure, but let's just take a peek here. Yeah, so let's try again. I'm gonna have you come just a smidge this way. There we go. Good enough. There we go. Perfect. Just like that. Nice and easy. There we go. Right? Nice, even light, kind of classic portrait setup. See how even the light is. Even though my light's off to one side, because I'm feathering it, and because I kind of raise it up a little bit, our shadow pattern is nice. You know, it's you can still see the shadow over here, but it's nice and even. You know, it's basically flatter. So that's good. That's one light. That's number one, right? The second I'm going to do is the background light, because that's another one that's going to be fairly easy. So I'm going to turn off the first one. This is the key here, because I'm using TTL. Once I have my exposure set, I'm going to now turn that light off. If I leave it on when I do the other lights, it's going to adjust, but I like that exposure, so we'll leave it. So I'm going to turn on the C light, which is my background light, which has a grid on it, like I said. We'll turn that guy on. And again, I'm just going to use TTL to get a base exposure. Okay, that's actually pretty good. I can see that it's blowing out here a little bit, and I probably don't want that. Actually, I'm looking at my numbers up here, my RGB numbers, and it's not completely blown out. It does look a tiny bit hot to my taste, so I'm just going to switch to manual at this point, because I'm just going to make a quick adjustment. I'm going to dial it down half a stop and do one more quick test. Yeah, that looks a little better. Again, I'm flavoring the light in the way I want it. Now that I've done that, I'm going to turn off that light, which is my C, and now I'm going to do my B light, which is my hair light. Now, I'm going to kind of circle around this way just to show you how this is set up. What's important about this hair light is this. You can see the full front of it, right, from the camera here, because it's not pointing, like if you know, I'll be the back of Paulina's head, right? It's not pointing at me if I'm the back of her head, right? It's pointed past. You want it to kind of graze by. So you want your light to be actually, the feather of this light is what's going to give her her rim or separation. So we'll start there. Okay, come back on. And again, we're just doing that light. So this is just the B light. Now, oftentimes when you have a light that's behind the subject, lean slightly this way. There you go. Behind the subject like that, the exposure might be a little tweaky and oh, it's actually not bad. See, the trick to getting a good exposure in TTL is always to say it's not going to be. Okay, so all three of those lights look pretty good in and of themselves. Now's where we put them all together. Now, if I just put it back in TTL and do that, the exposure might not be exactly what I want. What I'm going to do now is put the whole remote into manual, and then I'm going to turn on all of the lights. Okay, so there's going to be all three of our lights. I'm going to find a good focus here, take another shot, and now we're going to look at this, right? Let's see, we've got our hair light. Again, when you just saw that hair light, it probably looked like crazy bright, right? When we look at it in the scheme of things, it actually looks really nice, right? It's got nice texture to the hair, nice separation back there. And that all looks good. The key light on her face looks really nice and even. We have some shadow, but it's not over the top. And then of course we have that nice little circle of light, which again, by itself, looked super bright, but here it looks nice and mixed in. Now, this looks fine, and we'd be happy with this. However, I have good authority that Paulina wants to be the pink Power Ranger. So we've got a pink gel. I'm going to put it on the background light. So we'll go ahead and do that. So this is just a pink gel. I'll put it on the background light. Obviously, it's going to eat light, but I'm not going to switch back to TTL because if I do, again, it might completely change my exposure. What I'm going to do instead is I will just take a shot and I will look. Because here is the judgment call. You know, how bright or dark you want your background light to be is not a fixed number. There's no right or wrong answer here. No, that's actually pretty good. If we want the pink light to be a little more saturated and a little bit darker, we'll just turn the light down, which I think I might actually do. So it's funny, right? You would have thought I added the gel, I'd want to turn it up. But when I see it in pink, I think I actually want it to be a little darker. Yeah, I like that, right? And while the light coming from the background, you know, hitting her hair is not pink, because we have this carryover behind her, it almost kind of has that vibe. If I put a pink gel on there, I think that if it got on the front of her face, it would be too much. But I think this is nice. It's just nice and subtle. And there you go. Let's shoot a few. Good. Come this way slightly. Good. There you go. Nice. Pretty. Good like that. Oh, I'll press some weird button on the camera. There we go. For some reason my nose likes to press buttons. There we go. Good. One more. That's it. Good. Perfect. Yeah, nice, right? Nice and simple, right? We do it step by step, one at a time. Each light is adjusted as needed. And what's great here is that if we decide that, let's say some other subject steps in and we look at it and we're like, oh, we want a different color on the background or we want it to be a different tone, we can adjust that, right? Each light independently because they're already set. So there you go. Easy as that, right? Simple 3-point lighting. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comments. I will put Paulina's information in the description so you guys can follow her. Be sure to follow me, Daniel Norton Photographer. Be sure to subscribe to Adorama TV, of course, and ring the bell so you get all the notifications for the videos. And I will see you next time on set.